Hello fellow budgeters, my name is Brandy and you're watching From Debt to Dreams, and on this channel we're paying off over $400,000 worth of debt, but don't you fret, way more than half of that is our mortgage. Let's see, a little bit more about myself. I put like a little about me a little bit in my description of every single video, but right now I am 39 years old. My husband is 43. We never know how old he is. 43. We have two kids. One is 9 and one is 6. We also have a little Chihuahua dog. My husband and I have been married for, this year will make 13 years. We have been struggling with debt ever since we got married. I am the one that brought in the majority of the debt, and which is funny because most of my debt is almost paid off. And then when we were engaged, my husband was in getting his master's, and that's where his student loan debt comes in. And then we have a debt consolidation loan that we took out because we were really struggling last year. So that's where we're at. We both work full time. And what else maybe? Yeah, we're just trying to do our best with what we have so that we can pay for the things we need to pay for, but then also try to get ourselves out of this debt. So that's where we're at. Today we are going to do a December monthly budget closeout or breakdown or whatever it is you want to call it. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I want this to look. I'm going to go over how I was doing it all last year because I was using the budget by paycheck workbook last year. The thing is that I don't really budget for things like takeout, kids, those kinds of things, because like I have an envelope for them. So I don't know. I'm just kind of talking out loud and processing things. I'll have to think about it a little bit more for the January closeout. But anyway, here's December. So let's go over what we did. We had a starting balance in our expense account and in our cash envelopes of $465. Our earned income, this is not everything that we earned. This is just what we put into our expense account and into our cash envelopes, was $8,346. Other income was $108.07. And we did not use any savings in December. Besides Christmas. I didn't include Christmas in any of this stuff. So our total monthly inflow was $8,919.45. For household, our monthly budget was $1,950, which is just our mortgage. I categorize mortgage as a household expense instead of a debt expense, even though I count my mortgage in my debt payoff journey. But I categorize it as household in my budget. Anyway, we budgeted $1,950 and we spent $1,948.31 for our mortgage. So we had a difference of, we were under budget by a little over $1. For groceries, we had $1,240 budgeted and we only spent $808. So we were under budget by $431. For gas and cars, that's the gas and our car insurance and anything else like oil changes or any kind of car maintenance, we budgeted $525, but we spent $624, which was, we were over budget by $100. And that's because one of our cars got an oil change that I wasn't expecting, and kind of knew it was coming, but so there's that. For utilities, we budgeted $760. We only spent $548, so we were under budget by $211. Takeout, I don't budget anything for takeout, but we spent $338, so we were over a budget, of course, by $338. Tithes, I budgeted $173, and we actually tithed $186, so we were over budget by $13, which in my opinion, this is a good thing to be over budget in the tithing category. For health, I only budgeted $85, but we spent $199, so we were over budget by $114, and I can't even remember why. Oh, Jason was really sick in December. And then what else happened? Let me take a look really quick. Oh, and then all of our prescriptions. I need to start budgeting better for our prescriptions. And then I go to an ENT for allergy shots, and I have to pay $5 a week. Ooh, speaking of, I need to call them today. And so I don't budget that in there, which I probably should. I need to get like super better at all this budgeting stuff. Right now, like what's working, it's like kind of working. It is working. But then I say that and then I'm like, is it though? Sorry. You guys are probably like, this girl is nuts. Okay. For kids, we didn't budget anything, but we spent $106, and that was probably on like shoes or something. Should I look and see what it was for? Kids, Nintendo. And why don't we have anything else? More Nintendo. Interesting. I don't know. Just flipping through that really quickly, I didn't find anything. My husband Jason, we only budgeted $40 for him. He spent $97.50, and that's because he got a haircut and a beard trim, and I let him go to a friend of ours, and we tip our friend very, very, very well. I don't budget anything. I try not to spend much. I usually spend about roughly $50, and I did spend about $50. Annual fees, I wasn't expecting anything, but then our Google One annual fees came out for $30. And then for pets, I wasn't really expecting anything, but we had to spend $118 on Sadie. I have to take her roughly every 4 weeks to go get her anal glands expressed because of this like mass that she has on her booty that we're hoping to get scheduled for a surgery soon. And she also was getting an exam because she also has a heart murmur, so that's what that was for, and I didn't really expect us to have to pay that much. I was really only expecting maybe $50, but we had to $118. For savings, I budgeted $700, and we actually saved $1,007, which was wonderful. For debt, I budgeted $1,625, and we sent $1,622 to debt. For fun and entertainment, I only budgeted $57. Those were our, that's how much we spent on subscriptions each month. And we spent $163.65. So we were over by $106. And then celebrations, I did not budget anything, although we ended up having a birthday party that we went to for a kid, so we had to buy him a birthday present, and then my husband's birthday, and we took him out for dinner, and we went to go see Christmas lights. So that's what that was. So our total of all of the expenses, I had only budgeted $6,455, but we spent $8,014. And then for Christmas, I had $616 left over from the $1,378 that we had saved, and I actually ended up spending $1,480, so I was over by $120. So for 2026, that tells me that if I went over by $120, I should increase my Christmas spending or my Christmas budget. And I'm gonna try, but I have so many things. Like, I really thought that we were gonna get ahead. I was like, yes, we're finally getting ahead. Things are gonna be great. I have this really cool plan, and I'm going to do these things. Well, then now Sadie needs roughly a $4,000 surgery that we decided we are going to get done. We decided we're going to do it sooner rather than later because this mass keeps growing and it's really affecting her. Like, her tail is not in the middle of her little body anymore, and it's affecting her anal glands, and she's just uncomfortable. It doesn't bother her like pain wise, but I can tell she's uncomfortable, and she's starting to like scoot on the floor and licking herself in the middle of the night, and that's just not fun. So we are going to do that. We're going to put that we're going to pay for it as much as we can with the money that we have already saved, but then put the rest of it on our credit card, which really is not fun, but it needs to get done. And then also we realized that our car, one of our cars looks like it might have a leak. So it's just so frustrating because it's like, I thought we were finally going to gain some traction and then we're not. So, there's that. Let's pull out my debt trackers and see if there's anything we can do on those. Okay, here are our debt and savings trackers. Sorry for the lighting. There's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. So we'll just have to deal with that. So here's how we're tracking for Christmas. I would like to save $1,300. Looks like I need to try to up that to $1,400 somehow, or just rein in my Christmas spending. I feel like I didn't go too crazy this year. I think it was more, I didn't plan for the fun things that we wanted to do. Like going to see Christmas lights and stuff. But anyway, I keep our Christmas money in a high yield savings account, and I forgot to do a screenshot of how much money is in there before the next paycheck came in. So I will do that. I promise I'll be better at it. At the end of January, I will take a quick screenshot of it. But you'll have to trust me that there's $150 in our Christmas account. So each of these doodles equals $13. And so I am going to be able to color in 8 more. And so I'm going to do that and I will be right back. Perfect. All right. I just wanted to double check that I was doing that. All right. So our emergency fund. Okay. I have $1,500 in our emergency fund right now, roughly. But some of that money is going to go towards getting our hotel room. Because it's not really like the emergency fund. It's just our savings account that we have. And I just threw some money in there so that I wouldn't spend it on anything else. But we need a hotel for the day that we go to Charlotte for the Charlotte Football Club game, and then also the weekend that we're in Charlotte for Toby Mac. So I'm not going to update this because it's colored up to $1,600 and we're not there anyway. So for my husband's student loan, we have, we made a payment of $177. So now our total is $4,305.18, which means we get to color in 2 of these hearts because our original starting balance was $8,898 and we're now at $4,898. Now we're at $4,305, and each one equals $97.96. And so let me just double check my math because I don't trust past Brandy. 489812 minus 430518 equals $592.94. Divided by 97.96 gives us 6 that we can color in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to color in 2. And since this is December's closeout, we're going to use red. I think I also used red for February on some other ones too, which is fine. I just like using one color each month so I can kind of see how many months it took to pay it off. And right now we're sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months for that. Okay. The rest we don't get to do anything, and I hate student loans. I just need to say that. Okay. So even though I'm paying on these balances are going up, which makes sense. That's what's been happening with my husband's student loans since the moment we had to start paying them back. With the exception of like when they were accruing interest for COVID and stuff, but such is life. This is the way it goes. And, there's going to be comments and people being like, you need to pay this off. You need to redo this. You need to do that. And like, yes, I know, but I also need to fix my car. I also need to get my dog have surgery. I also need an emergency fund for things like fixing my car and getting my dog surgery. So unfortunately, as much as I want it to be, this is not a priority. I hate it. I hate it. I think about this constantly, but there is nothing I can do short of me going out and getting another job, which you're probably wondering, why aren't you going out and getting another job? Well, I won't for two. I have a history of having second jobs. I've been working second jobs pretty much since I could work. And I'm still not that I'm not disciplined enough to pay off debt, but it's also like, it seems like the more money I make, the more crap happens. And I have to pay for that crap. And so then also at the same time, I did work a second job while my youngest son was just a baby. So much so that I was breastfeeding him and I had to pump in my car. I was delivering pizzas and I had to take pump breaks in my car to deliver. And I did not get to spend a lot of time with my youngest, my last baby, while he was a baby. So because of that, I am not going to be getting extra jobs now because I need to spend time with my family. That is my absolute priority, is spending the time with my family while they are still at the age where they want to be around me. Now, when they're teenagers or when they're in college and they don't need me as much anymore, then I might think of something different. But this is my husband and I's priority. And if it means we're going to struggle a little bit, and if it means we're going to stay in debt for a little bit longer, then that's okay with us. And maybe when we're 65, 75, we might regret that decision, but I doubt it. Because spending time with my kids is more important to me than paying off this debt, if that makes sense. So, doesn't mean I'm not going to be working towards it when I can. It just means that I'm not going to go get a second job. I don't need it right now. Now, if we weren't able to keep up with our mortgage or something like that on top of these bills, then yeah, we would definitely be doing something like that. But it's not a need, so we're not going to do it. So here's the rest. So my husband's student loan is one loan, like one big payment, but it's got 6 loans inside that payment. So for the second student loan, we paid $52 towards that one. And now the loan amount is $9,844. So we can't color anything. For the third one, we paid $54 and our balance is now $10,382. So we can't color anything. This one we paid $80. The balance is now $15,210 and we cannot color anything. And this one is $54. So this one's also $10,382. Can't color anything. And this one is, we paid $80 and we have $15,255. We can't color anything. Such is life. That's the way it is. All right. So for my student loan, the last one we have remaining is I paid $180 towards it. So our balance is now $21,588.16. So I get to color in one of these leaves on this succulent plant right here. So looks like we already have a couple of reds, which is good. That means we've been working on it a lot. We've been able to color in at least one of these every single month, which is really good. And we're not sending any extra money towards this one right now. We're literally just making the minimum payments. All right, and then for our debt consolidation loan, we made our minimum payment of $942.91. So our minimum pay, or our remaining balance is $61,630.44, which means we get to color in 11 of these right here. So I'll be right back. All right. So as I color this, every single month I think about, well, you still have $61,000 left in this debt. And how can your tracker be almost done? It can be almost done because when we got this loan, we were consolidating a bunch of debts that we have in order to lower our monthly payments. And so this debt consolidation loan covers a lot of debts. And I just took all of the same trackers and calculated what we had left on them. And so that's what we're doing. So this debt tracker is almost done, which is then we'll move on to this one, and then we'll move on to this one, and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm able to color in 11 on this one, which means we're almost done with this one, which is just fantastic. We have 19 left, which is super fun. Okay, so then we go to our mortgage, and our mortgage, the next time we get to color one of these is when our mortgage is at $273,913, and we are not quite there yet, but we probably will be in January, I hope. But one really cool thing is that we get to color in one of these. This is our total debt picture. Okay, this is, and each one of these spaces is $4,413. And it looks like the last one we got to color in was actually probably in February because that's red. So I'm actually going to color, even though I was using red and all the other ones, I'm going to use green for this. So the next one is $423,668. I can officially tell you, and we'll see in just a second, our debt is finally underneath that. So that's so exciting. So I'm going to color this in, and like I said, I'm using green instead of red because we already used red right there, and I just want to show how many different months it took to take this, and I don't want to get confused when I see two reds together. Okay, so there is that. Now let's go into the bigger numbers. Okay, so here is our balances. Like I said, we just went through all of this. For my husband's student loan, we paid an interest of $354. For my student loan, we paid an interest of $97.84. The debt consolidation loan, the interest was $653. It's just devastating. And then our mortgage, the interest is $744. So our total interest this month was $1,850. And our interest in November 2025 was $1,866. So as long as that number continues to go down, I'm happy with that. And our November debt balance was $423,805.22, while our December debt balance is $422,864.13. So we were able to pay off $941.09 of interest, which is awesome. One thing that I want to do really quick is grab my calculator, wherever that went, right here. I want to grab my calculator, and I'm going to go back to January of this year, of 2025. And we're going to look at what our starting balance of our debt was in January. So our starting balance in January, was, it says December 2024 because that's what the debt balance was at the end of December of 2024. So that's the beginning of 2025. So we had $436,128.42. Okay, and we're going to subtract what our ending balance is of December of 2025, which is $422,864.13. We have paid off this year $13,264.29. And when I look at the pictures, when I look at it big picture like that, that is so encouraging, because month to month it doesn't feel that way. So yeah, I am just yeah, that's good. Okay, so then I like to look at my my monthly net worth for I'm just gonna, for shits and giggles. And so this is the way I calculate my net worth. I only calculate what is available to me liquid that I can get in just a few days without any penalties. So I'm not counting house equity. I'm not counting car equity. I don't really feel like I have any equities in my cars anyway. I'm not counting 401ks, all that kind of stuff. I'm just counting my bank account and my credit union, my cash envelopes, my cash sinking funds, and then my high yield savings account for my assets. And then my liabilities, of course, are a mortgage, both for our student loans and our debt consolidation loan. So last month, our net worth was negative $418,120.47. This month, when you minus your total assets minus your liabilities, we are at negative $416,800.30, which means we increased our net worth by $1,320.17. And that's huge. And so let's do the December thing again. So let's look at where we were at the beginning of 2025, which was $430,400.39. And then we go to the ending balance, which was $416,830, which means we increased our net worth by $13,600.09, which is on par, since we paid off about that much for with debt, and it's just a little bit more because we've added a little bit more to our savings and our cash envelopes, which just is like, it's good to see the big picture. Like I said, I'm just really struggling. And, you know, that's just real and honest, is that life does not always go the way we plan. And it really just feels like every time we get a little bit of margin or we get a little bit of ahead, something happens. And we're trying really hard to set up our life so that when something does happen, it doesn't feel discouraging or anything like that. So, yeah. So anyway, if you enjoy seeing real numbers and and can relate to someone who's struggling like we are, or not, we're not struggling. We're able to pay everything. I'm just not able to do things as fast as I want to. That's the problem. But this is real life. I'm real. I'm honest. I don't sugarcoat anything. And, so I just appreciate you being here and following along on this super real and raw journey that I'm on. Okay, if you want, also one more thing to say is that if you like freebie challenges, I make freebie challenges and throw them up on my Ko-fi. I'm just an amateur at it. I don't pay for Canva. I use all the free images, so it's like so easy. Anybody can make them. I just do it because it's fun, and I get kind of bored on my either lunch breaks, or if I have a couple of extra minutes during work that I'm not doing anything, I will log on to Canva real quick and make some minis, and it's just like super fun. So if you want those things, go ahead and head over to my Ko-fi. I hope to be posting a new freebie every Wednesday of this year. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. All right, my friends, I hope you have a lovely day. I will see you on Wednesday with a mini savings challenge video. Bye.